You know the expression using a sledgehammer to crack a nut? Well, the BMW X5 50e is more like a pneumatic drill. The 50e is the replacement for the 45e, which won its class at the Tow Car Awards in 2021. Back then, we praised it for its speed, stability and luxury. In fact, it had everything you might look for in a premium SUV. The 50e updates that winning formula with more power and a longer all-electric range, but the price is up to around £80,000. Is the X5 good enough to justify that kind of money? Well, to find out, we're about to hitch up to a big twin-axle Swift and go towing. We'll also consider what the car is like to drive in everyday conditions, how roomy and practical it is, and the price and running costs. Only when we've taken all those different factors into account will we deliver our final verdict.
When you've watched the video, please do remember to click like and to subscribe to the Camping and Caravanning Club's YouTube channel. Click on the notification button to make sure you never miss a video again. To give this heavy and powerful car a thorough test, we've matched it to a Swift Elegance Grand 845 with a mass in running order of 1,850 kilograms, borrowed from club preferred dealer Broad Lane Leisure.
With both the petrol engine and electric motor working together, the X5 has nearly 500 horsepower. Now, that might sound a bit intimidating, but this is actually an easy car to drive. As long as you're gentle with the throttle, everything is smooth and very well controlled. Now, we've started our towing test with around 1/3 of a battery charge, and the car is able to tow on electric power alone for a lot of the time. But when a bit more pace is needed and both the electric motor and the petrol engine combine, this really is a very, very fast tow car. It really does shift, easily reaching 60 miles per hour, holding speed on steep inclines. In fact, there's more power and performance than you're ever likely to want to use while towing. What's much more important is that the X5 is stable as well as quick. It's largely unfazed by crosswinds and high-sided vehicles. Now, as for the fuel economy you can expect while towing, well, that's going to depend to a great extent on how much charge the battery has. We set off, as I've said, with 1/3 charge, and while the battery was depleting, the car returned 44.7 mpg. But once the all-electric range showed us 0, then we reset the trip and we only saw 18 miles to the gallon.
Leave the caravan behind and the X5 is a rewarding car to drive.
As when towing, you don't really need to use the X5's massive performance, but boy is it fun when you do. It handles very well too. For a car that's just shy of 2.5 tons, it really does corner very well, although it's at its best on open sweeping bends rather than tight and narrow lanes. The ride is comfortable too. It's on the firm side for sure, but it's certainly no bone shaker. There are a couple of foibles though. Every now and again, the transition from electric to hybrid running isn't quite as smooth as it could be, especially at low speeds for some reason. There's also the adaptive regenerative braking function, which means that you don't know exactly how much the car is going to slow down when you back off the throttle. That does take a bit of getting used to. But otherwise, these minor foibles aside, this is a very enjoyable car to drive.
Let's have a more thorough look inside.
Now, when BMW updated the X5 in 2023, they didn't just give the plug-in hybrid model more power and a bigger battery. They also fitted the latest generation twin-screen infotainment system. It's 2 screens, but it looks like one huge curved display. It really is very impressive to look at. It is quite complicated though, the infotainment side of it. It does take a little while to get used to, although you do have BMW's iDrive controller, which makes it simpler to use on the move without becoming too distracted. I'd prefer to keep the air conditioning controls completely separate. They are on the screen, but the good thing is they are always on display along the bottom of the screen, so you don't have to go into a menu. It's not too fiddly to just make a simple temperature adjustment. Most of what you can look at and feel and touch in the car is of a very high quality. There are one or two things that don't quite live up to the price tag. I don't really like these rather plasticky air vent controls, for example. But in general, it does live up to its billing as a true luxury SUV in terms of the fit and finish inside. The driver's seat is very comfortable and it adjusts every which way electrically, as you'd expect at this kind of price point. And you've got the memory function here, so you can store your favoured driving position. Very useful if more than one person is going to be driving regularly. In terms of storage, there's a huge door bin on either side and it's shaped to take a large drinks bottle. You've got these twin cup holders here at the base of the centre console, and on this particular car they are both heated and cooled, so you can keep your coffee warm or your cold drink cold as you drive. Okay, well that's the front of the car. Let's go and take a look in the back. Legroom in the back of the X5 is okay rather than great for a car of this size, but there is plenty of headroom. There's a very small hump in the floor, which isn't really going to get in the way too much if you've got 3 people in the back, and the car is very wide, so you should be able to sit 3 adults in the rear in reasonable comfort. In this particular model, which has the Comfort Plus pack fitted, you get 4-zone air conditioning, so there are 2 zones in the back, 2 zones in the front. There are air vents between the front seats and in the door pillars to keep everyone nice and comfortable. If you're carrying children in the car rather than adults, then as you'd expect, there are Isofix mounting points for child seats on either side in the back here. So that's the rear of the car. Let's take a look in the boot. Now there are a couple of compromises if you choose the plug-in hybrid X5 over one of the other models. Firstly, you cannot order the car with 7 seats. It's an option on the other versions, but with the plug-in hybrid, it's strictly a 5-seater. Secondly, you do lose out on some boot space, whereas the other cars have 650 litres. This model has a 500 litre boot, but that's still a decent space. You're going to fit a lot of holiday bags in here. One nice touch is the split tailgate. It's a very handy feature, say you're out in the countryside, you've got muddy boots and you want to take them on and off. The split tailgate effectively gives you a little bench to sit on while you do that. Another nice feature, with the air suspension fitted to this car, you can push on this button, lower the back of the car. It makes it easier to lift heavy items in and out. Now the tow ball on this model deploys electrically. You just push this button and it lowers into place. You just reverse the process when you want to retract it. And it's an optional extra, of course, and at the time of our test it will set you back £1,150.
That's just one of the many options fitted to our test car. The standard spec is generous, but the various packs add nearly £20,000 to the asking price. A used example of the older X5 45e will be within reach of many more buyers, with prices starting from around £32,000 at the time of our test.
There's no getting away from the huge price if you are shopping for a new X550e, although the equivalent Mercedes and Range Rover Sport are actually even more expensive. If you have the means for a car like this, then surely you're going to have somewhere to recharge it overnight, in which case you can make use of the all-electric range of up to 68 miles. The bigger battery helps keep fuel economy sensible while towing, but it's the stability and performance of the X5 that really stand out. It truly is an exceptional tow car.
When you've watched the video, please do subscribe to the Camping and Caravanning Club's channel if you haven't already. Click on the notification button and you'll never miss any of the club's tow car, caravan, camping and motorhome content. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to click on the thumbs up button to like it and let us know what you think in the comments.